Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again. Today I want to speak to you because, as always, my being here is uh, about you. And I want to speak on a subject matter that has to do with liberation, obviously. But I'm going to jump around on a couple of things because since the last time I spoke to you, a couple of things have crossed my mind. And I just want to uh, dab on them just for a moment, if I may. Again, this is basic human rights for all people. Now, one of the things that crossed my mind, and I'm going to be honest with you as best I can, okay, is the thing that people talk about is civil war. Civil war. America. We've gone through that once before. And to me, to even consider engaging in civil war again, it really depicts where man's mind and man's heart and man's spirit is. And it is so negative, according to what I have been given, that mankind, should go to the same side that the dinosaurs went to. Where is that? I don't know. But they're not here. They say they used to be here. They're not here now. And so it appears that man thinking like a civil war, well, is where they really, mankind in America, and if the world was involved in it, all of humanity should be dispersed to where the dinosaurs are. You see, it's so obviously crazy. I mean, when you see the things that happen in our world today, you talk about a civil war, you talk about people getting guns, killing folks. And in America, they would speak about race war. And that's what it would be. They might call it civil war, but it would be just really a race war. And I can't even understand that. That was a civil war once, and when they show the movies and you read about it, it says that people who were in the South who were engaged in the war, when they came back home, the South was so screwed up, they were pissed about what they lost. They tell us that in the history of America, when blacks were rising up, doing their own thing, practicing the ways of the white man, and when they were being successful, the white man in his racism and hatred and bigotry and evilness went and burned them out. And you see what Russia is doing to Ukraine right now, burning them out, tearing them up, destroying them. So I wonder what make America think that if they engaged in a civil war with people who don't have anything, they made sure they don't own anything. The white people own everything, even the land that what black people think they own, still belong to the white man. And you would want to fight a nation of people within your own nation who have no reason to do anything but to survive, and if they can't survive, then to destroy you while you are dropping bombs on their ghetto homes and ghetto towns and blowing them up, and all they got is a match. And and some people know, at least believe, that a match is just as dangerous as a bullet, especially if it'll destroy. And if you're trying to kill black people or people of color while you're at least destroying all of your cities and towns, all the stuff that you own, who's going to rebuild it? These guys are not going to do it because they're dead. And you know you're not going to do it because you're too lazy and don't know how. And you might want to get artificial intelligence to do it for you, but artificial intelligence say they will never be docile like the black man. They wouldn't take it. So civil war, killing up, it seems just the dumb as dumb can be. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Anybody that's thinking about civil war, forget it. That's your end if you're thinking about a civil war. Another thing, I was watching how Donald Trump, they talked about Donald Trump when you had the coronavirus. They said Donald Trump lied about it. He wouldn't tell you the truth about it. And he just kept lying and kept lying and kept lying and kept lying. Well, they say he always lies. But in regards to this pandemic, because of the role he played, it allowed a bigger of a pandemic to occur. And let's say that's true. Let's say that's true. All of these extra people died because of Donald Trump being quiet. and allowing the lie to spread. Now, let's flip that script and look at Mayor Garland, the uh, the guy whose responsibility is to make sure that guys who break the laws and stuff like this are held accountable. The Department of Justice, Merrick Garland. Now, everybody in this country knows that Trump is guilty for what he has done. Not only do they know that Trump is guilty, the jails and prisons are being crowded out with people who followed and which is the evidence of Trump's guilt. And for over 2 years, this man has been out opening his mouth, spreading that same cancerous flame that he had been spreading ever since 2015, constantly spreading it, and having engaged against this nation the way he did. And this Department of Justice Attorney General, who is going to follow wherever it leads him. But it didn't lead him to Trump. And if it led him to Trump, then he acted just like Trump. When Trump didn't tell the truth in relationship to that virus, is the same thing as Garland allowing, or the Department of Justice allowing Trump to be out, as guilty as he is, all of this time, spreading all this venomous poison throughout this nation, knowing it's effective, knowing that lies spread and people buy into them like nothing, and you allow him to do it, to do it, to do it. You're not tricking God. God knows what you're doing. He's letting everybody else who knows God know this. There's only one way that is the proper way, and that's God's way. That other choice is any way other than God's. It can be your way, it could be the white man's way, it could be America's way, it could be any other way, but it ain't gonna take you nowhere but into all of the hell that we've been experiencing all of this time. And this is what I've been trying to get to you. I was thinking about, well, I heard something about the prisoners in El Salvador. They got thousands. I think they might have said something about 40,000 people. They said them lined up, men down, all chained up. Oh my God. They looked like they might have been naked. And they all chained up and they all been down, and you got these people with guns over them talking about El Salvador where we got 40,000 gang members. What do they call us gang members? What are gangs about? Gangs are about the same things that the mafia is about. And what is the mafia about? The mafia is about justice. So the gangs are about justice. The mafia is about justice. All that stuff is about justice. What do I mean by that? I'm saying that the system of men have messed up people so much in relationship to what men were designed to have and to experience. Until once you do that, they end up with mafia. You end up with gangs and bending them down with naked and putting them before the public and beating them, making the nation, the world think that you are protecting them from these. No, baby. You created these gangs. You created the mob. Why? Because you're doing things other than the proper way, which is God's way. In God's way, your needs are met. Your wants are met. Your desires are met. How is that done? Because the resources necessary to do that have already been given to you free. And since you're going to have it, then you play a role in the process of causing its manifestation. And you have been given something that when you play your role, it gives you your greatest joy. And all of you doing that, you're just creating heaven on earth. You ain't got none of the stuff going around. And I'm saying to men, black men, white men, yellow men, red men, all of you, wherever you are, this is God's way of doing things. And any system that's designed to do anything other than this needs to be burned. But you're not supposed to burn it. Burning it means discarding it. Burning it means turning your back on it, resisting it. That's what burning it means. And in that process, and in that time span, you're actually giving life to the new vision that you have been given, that there's no one that's hungry, no one that's suffering a lack of food, clothing, and shelter, or education, or health care, or transportation, or anything that has been made by the hands of men. This is God's way. And God is looking for people who can see that. God is creating or hoping that out of this whole mess that we're in, that men will rise up and see this. These are the kind of human beings that God is hoping to call forward. These are the kinds that have chosen God's way: fairness, justice, and mercy, and love. These are the ones. And the ones that resist fairness, the ones that resist justice and mercy and love, they are the ones who choose hell. They are the ones that got the gangbangers, that create the gangbangers, that create the wars, that create the terror, that creates the hatred, that create the racism, that creates the bigotry. They are the ones that do that. But God's people walk up out of that by standing up for God. And you don't have to worry about it. You just stand up for God and the door will open for you to come to God. Well, let me see if there's anything else. God is the creator group. Well, all I can say other than that is everybody is a liar. The only way you can prove that you are touched by the love of God. Yes, this little giving out sandwiches in the soup line to hungry people, that's good. But if you can see that as being a sign for God, then you can see that anybody that's hungry is a sign that God is calling on somebody to get rid of this hunger amongst humankind. And if you can't see that, then you just haven't grown to that point yet. You haven't grown to that point yet. God is looking for those who have grown to that point and says, we're going to get rid of that. I just had to say that one more time. So unless you turn your back, let me say another thing. For you people, especially men that's 40 years old, I don't care what you've been doing in life before. If you continue to live, you're going to get older. You better start focusing on what I've been talking to you about to prepare for your kids, your grandkids, and so on, for society at large. You better also prepare for you getting old. Because I want to tell you, the way the world is right now, old people are outcasts. I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.